Who says you can't get honey your first year? Stay tuned. Welcome back to Fern Valley Honeybees. Well, it's Honey Harvest 2018. It's time to harvest honey. What we're going to do here is we're going to harvest some of these frames. I'm not going to bore you guys with watching us do all of it. So I'm going to show you how I scrape a few of these frames. We're going to put it in the extractor here, and we'll spin a bunch of it, and then we'll come back and we'll show you when we're done. There's like 3 different tools you could use for this. These are our frames. One of the most important things is when you harvest your honey, you want to make sure these frames are capped. Okay, if these frames aren't capped all the way, and you can see it on both sides, that means the honey is not fully cured. When the bees cap it, that means they've got all the moisture out of the honey. So then it's ready to harvest. If it's half capped or 3/4 capped, all I'm doing is I'm putting them in the freezer, and I'm going to use them next year. I'll put them back into supers and let the bees finish what they started. But you don't want to, if there's too much moisture in the honey, it'll ferment in the jars. It won't go bad, but it'll ferment, and it can get a little funny tasting. And people are buying your honey. They don't obviously want that. So what we're going to do here is there's 3 different tools that you could use. There's a scraping knife. What I'm going to do is try not to break all the comb open. The bees work really hard all summer building these combs, putting this honey in. I'm going to try not to destroy the comb. There's a like a decapping roller. I think that's the right term for it. Or you could use the knife. And when you put these frames in these boxes, you only put 9 frames. You don't do 10. You give the bees a little bit more space. They can build these combs out, these frames out just a little farther, and you get more honey out of it. It builds the frame. If these frames were farther out, you could take this knife and you can cut it all off. I'm going to put it in here because I'm going to save the cappings, and I'm going to let the honey, I'm going to put it like in a spaghetti strainer and let the honey drain through the strainer and into a bucket. Or you could scrape. You could take the frame. You could scrape them like this. You want to uncap it is what you're doing. You could do this. You could use the scraper, or you could use the roller. Like I said, the object here is not to break all the comb, because the bees work like I said really hard to build this comb. So that means next summer, when you put these frames back in, the bees have less work to do because the combs are already built. They can start making you honey. So we're going to try it this way. We're going to uncap a few of them here. If this doesn't work that good, we're going to use the scraping knife. But you want to get these all uncapped. You just scrape it real lightly. You're going to wind up breaking some of the comb. You can't help it. But the object here is not to break too much comb if you can help it. And there is a tool. I forgot to bring it over here. There's a thing you can measure the moisture content in the honey, which I have it. I just forgot to bring it out here. I'll show it in the next video because I'm going to turn this off. We're going to spin a bunch of honey and we'll come back and show you the results. So I'm just going to do this. So you just want to scrape it. You can't help. Some of the comb is getting broken. You can't help it. But you want to just scrape it real easy. Let the comb fall into the glass container here, the glass bowl. And what I'm going to do is when I spin this, if it's not all out, I'll recap. I'll scrape it. So you got your honey spinner here, or your extractor. I call it a spinner, but just extractor. You put the frames, and we'll show you this here in a second. This extractor holds 4 frames. It's a variable speed. What you want to do is you want to spin. You want to spin one side, get it all out, and then you take the frames, reverse them, and you spin the other side. So what we're going to do here, like I said, I'm just going to do 4. We already started 2 frames. There's already 2 frames in there. We got 1 more frame to go. I'm going to scrape this like this. I'm scraping really carefully because, like I said, I don't want to bust too much comb if I can help it. But all you're doing is uncapping it so the honey can come out. I've got a total of 1 hive. There's 9 frames in each box. 1 box I had, or out of 1 hive I had 19, subtract 2, I had 16 or 17 frames. I'm sorry, 9 and 9 is 18. I had 18 frames. 2 weren't capped all the way, So what I did is I took those and I put them in the freezer. So I've got 16 frames off my Italian hive. My Carniola hive, for whatever reason, they only took care of one super. And there was 9 frames in that, and 3 of those frames were bad, so I had 7. So we got 16 and 7. I'm sorry, it was 6. 16 and 6. That's all the frames we got for this year, which is pretty good for our first year here. These girls did a really good job. So, okay, I think we're gonna put this. We're gonna see what it does. Like I said, if I have to come back and re-scrape some, I will. Okay, we're gonna put this in here. You want to bring the camera over here? We're gonna put the frames in here. Where's the lid? We're gonna put the lid on, and we're gonna spin it this way. You could buy these extractors. There's hand crank ones, but for a little bit more money, you buy the electric one, which is kind of nice. It's variable speed instead of sitting there cranking and cranking. And I'm sure that works just good, but we're going to do this. Just turn this on. And I don't know if you could see it. This is going to wobble. I'll hold this. You can see the honey shooting off to the side. We're going to let it go for a minute or so here. I'm just going to kind of hold this. These legs don't have, which I was hoping, holes in them so I could mount this to the thing, but I'll just hold it. We'll let this spin for a second here. It looks like it's almost all out, so we're going to check it. Let's turn it off. And we'll see what one side of the frames look like. Let it finish spinning. We're going to put this here. Look, it's all out. Pretty nice, huh? And the comb is still there. Oh, we didn't do too bad. If you can see, most of the comb is all there. The honey is out. And I don't know if you can see down inside, it's pretty dark, but there's honey in there. So now what we're going to do is flip these around. And what I'm going to do when I'm done extracting all this honey is I'm going to put these frames back outside. I'm going to put them out by the hives in the supers, and I'm going to let the bees clean it all up. Within 10 minutes, these bees will be all over these frames, and they will totally clean up any of the honey that's left on these frames. I'm spin them around. And then I'll take them and put them in the basement. We'll keep them ready for next year. Yeah, see that? All the comb is empty. This way, right? Yeah. Just turn the frames around. Put the lid back on. Yeah, I need to figure out a way to mount this. I kind of figured it was going to wobble, which is fine. Oh, this way. Okay. Put this here. This saves a lot of work on your arm instead of cranking this. Okay, here we go. Ready? Turn it on. Start it slow. Let them start to spin. This variable speed is nice. This saves a lot of work on your arms. And you could hear, but you probably can't hear it on the video, but you could hear the honey hitting the sides. Now that one side is extracted, it's not wobbling quite as bad. So what I'm going to do is we're going to spin these 4 frames. We're going to go ahead and finish the rest of it. I'll come back. I don't need to make an hour-and-a-half long video here on spinning all this honey. You guys got the general idea how this works. But I'll come back and we'll see how much we got. Yeah, this side's not spinning nearly as, it's not wobbling quite as bad because the other side was empty. And you could see down in here. Okay, bring the camera here. Okay, let's see what it looks like here. We'll let it stop spinning. Yeah, much lighter frame. There, the honey's all out, see? And it's down the bottom. A lot of cappings down there, which is fine. And I'm going to show you the next step here. So this is done. Like I said, I'm going to take these supers out and let the bees clean it up. What we're going to do is we'll show this in the next video, but I've got some 5-gallon food grade pails. This sits on top of the pail. We'll show it in this next video. And then you pour the honey. I made this platform so it sits high enough the bucket can sit underneath there. You put this on top of the bucket. You run the honey through. This will catch all the cappings. And then we'll put the cappings in a spaghetti strainer or something and let that just kind of drip for however long it takes. And then we're going to keep all the cappings. We're going to melt wax, and that'll be a whole nother video. My daughter wants to make candles, so that ought to be interesting. I've never done that. So we're going to melt the wax down, but that's a whole nother video. So, okay, YouTube, we'll be back. We're going to extract the rest of this honey, and we will show you the finished project. I'm sorry, we will show you the finished product. See, there's no bloopers here. I don't do retakes here. So if I screw up, you guys see it. So, okay, we'll be back probably about a half hour, which will be about 10 seconds on the camera. So we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Welcome back, YouTube, for the update here. Okay, it's actually about 2 hours later. We've done 22 frames. We're still going. There's still a bunch of honey in the extractor we have to drain out. So far, 22 frames has given us 40 pounds, and we've got more to go. You could buy these little scales. You can find these on eBay. It was like $3. You could weigh luggage with them. You could weigh fish. It's kind of a handy little thing. You take it, you turn it on. It's blue. You can see it's an LED screen. I love it. So right now we're at about 40 pounds, and we got more to go. And like I was talking about earlier, I don't know if I could say this name right, a refractometer. You could take this. I can't show you on the camera, but you put a little bit of honey right there. Like I said, the moisture content's supposed to be at like 17%. This one's at about 18.5. You put a little bit of honey on there, you close the lid, you look through it in the sunlight, and you can see it'll give you the reading. You can adjust it so it's clear. It will give you your reading. All this honey was capped, so it's ready to go, but this moisture content, I'm assuming the higher the number, and if I'm wrong, somebody tell me, the higher the number, the higher the moisture. It's supposed to be at like 17 point something. This is about almost 19. But it's fine because it was all capped and we're good to go. So you can see the scrapings. This knife works, or this scraping tool works really well. We got the knife, we got the roller. This we like the best because you could take this frame, you could scrape in pieces and brush it off. Scrape, brush it. It worked out really well. And once you got the hang of it, it went pretty quick. So like I said, right now we're straining, and I'm going to show you what's coming out of this drum. There's still probably a good 1.5 inches of honey in here. So here we go. And I'm going to tip it forward. We can only fill this strainer so far. The nice thing about these stainless steel strainers, the net or the screening on there is so fine, it will catch all the cappings. You'll have nothing but honey. And that bucket is almost 3/4 full. So I'm going to guess we're going to have a full 5-gallon pail of honey when all is said and done. Because we're going to strain this over here, all our scrapings, and we got to finish draining the other one. And there's still a bunch of honey in here. But we can only drain so much at a time. Obviously, I need another one of these for next year so we could have 2 going at one time. Like I said, all this stuff you can find on eBay. Pretty reasonably priced, free shipping generally. I'm going to shut it off. There it is, folks, liquid gold. This is what we've been waiting for all summer. This is great. And I've got, like I said, 22 frames. Give you an idea how much honey 22 frames has given me. So there's more to go in here. I will be back when we're finished with this, and we'll give you the final update on how many pounds total. But as of right now, there's about 40 pounds in that bucket, and there's probably a good 1/2 inch of honey in this extractor still. So I will be back, YouTube. We'll talk to you. All right, well, YouTube, we're back. Okay, it's actually the next day, finishing this video up. By the time we got done yesterday, it just took too long to get everything cleaned up It took a little while to strain all that honey through that stainless steel strainers. Them strainers are really nice. I really recommend that. Takes a little while for it to go through, but it gets all the cappings out. And then what we had left with the cappings, we put in the strainer over a bucket and let it just go overnight. And by the time this morning came, everything was done. So as far as what we got 2 buckets here, 80 pounds. 22 frames, 80 pounds. You can't beat it. That was great. I didn't think I'd get that much at the beginning of the year. I was hoping for some. I got way more than I expected. What you want to do when you get your honey, when you get your buckets to put your honey in, get these food grade buckets. Don't just use, you want to use obviously brand new buckets, but just don't get regular buckets. You want to get the food grade. There's something in the plastic on the regular buckets that's toxic, I think, to food. Obviously the honey's going to be sitting in here for a little while. So, but these are cheap. You can go to Walmart and buy them for like $2.89 a bucket. The lids, these lids are a little bit more money because they're nicer, but they snap on, and you could screw this on. Menards sells these lids. These were like $6, but you could use a regular lid that just snaps on and it's fine. It's got a seal underneath it. I just like this because I can just screw it on and off. Valves, you can find these on eBay all day long. It's pretty inexpensive, but you want to use food grade bucket. So like I said, 22 frames, 80 pounds. There it is. That bucket's basically full. This one's about half full. I've got a bunch of different size bottles here. I've got 1 pound, I've got 12 ounce, I've got 8 ounce, I got 6 ounce, and I got these little tiny ones. People like these little 2 ounce bottles. They buy them and they use them for weddings. When there's a centerpiece on a wedding table, at a wedding, they'll put these little bottles of honey out for like little gifts. It works out great. You can buy these bottles on Man Lake. They got all kinds of different styles. I like the bear. It's kind of cute. People like it, you know, and it looks cute. And when you buy honey other places, a lot of people use these plastic bears. You can buy them in large quantities. It's a little cheaper if you buy, cases of them. The lids, you buy the lids. They have a plastic piece of paper on the inside, so when you crank this lid down, that plastic will seal the top of the honey and keep it, sealed. So anyways, I'm not gonna bore you guys with watching me fill bottles, but here they are. So anyways, that's pretty much it. It went really well. It took a little while. I highly recommend the electric extractor. You don't got to crank it by hand and wear your arm out. You just turn it on and let it go. I'm going to do a video on how to clean this thing. It's not as bad as you would think, actually, to clean it. But I don't want to go into those details now. So anyways, that's what we did. 2018 success. My first year with honey. It went really well. Spent a lot of time out there with those bees. It's really rewarding to see all this honey come out of it. I just find it fascinating that them girls can do this. So anyways, hopefully you like the videos. Hopefully you learned something from all this. There's a little bell next to the subscribe button. Hit the bell for you'll get notifications every time I make a video. Give me a thumbs up. The more thumbs up you get, it's just nice to see all the thumbs up. So hopefully, like I said, you learned something video. Any questions, comments, please leave them. Until next time, YouTube, I'll talk to you later. Bye.